America projects itself as a beacon of justice, teaching a sanitized history of leaders, but the national record contains a darker reality of executive power. When an ordinary citizen makes a mistake, they face personal consequences. When a president fails, tens of thousands are forced from their ancestral lands, wars are launched on false premises, and entire nations collapse. These historical tragedies follow 4 specific patterns of executive failure, visible in this organizational chart. To understand how this power operates, we must strip away the textbook hero worship and examine the mechanics of ruin. We start with the cowardly appeaser. James Buchanan had 40 years of government experience when he took office in 1857, yet he prioritized political comfort over national survival. As Southern states declared secession, Buchanan adopted a paralyzing legal logic. He conceded that secession was illegal, but concluded the federal government had no authority to stop it. His own cabinet to raid federal armories and scatter the Navy. 6 weeks after he left office, the Civil War began. Strategic indifference does not create peace. It simply ensures that when the conflict finally erupts, it exacts a much higher price in human lives. Next is the malicious architect. Andrew Jackson is celebrated as a populist champion, but he wielded the machinery of the state with deliberate cruelty against marginalized groups. In 1832, Jackson openly defied the Supreme Court to force the removal of Native Americans. The resulting Trail of Tears killed up to 8,000 Cherokee people. Andrew Johnson applied a similar architecture of malice. Driven by personal racism, he vetoed civil rights legislation and dismantled Reconstruction efforts designed to protect newly freed Black Americans. When malice holds the highest office, it can erase decades of progress and build legal structures of oppression that endure for centuries. The third pattern is the corrupt and paranoid. While leaders like Warren G. Harding oversaw financial looting, Richard Nixon weaponized the government for his own political survival. Nixon's paranoia led to the secret carpet bombing of Cambodia and the Watergate cover-up, where he used the CIA to obstruct an FBI investigation into his own campaign. Facing certain conviction and removal from office, he became the only president to resign the office. Nixon's crimes permanently hollowed out the American public's trust in their own institutions. Finally, there is the blind crusader. Woodrow Wilson preached global democracy while he segregated the federal workforce and signed laws to imprison domestic critics. George W. Bush demonstrated a similar, hazardously absolute moral certainty. Following September 11th, his administration launched a multi-trillion-dollar invasion of Iraq, fueled by conviction rather than verified intelligence. This map tracks the administration's intelligence claims, identifying alleged weapons of mass destruction sites. Officials presented satellite photos and intercepted calls to the United Nations to justify the invasion. Those weapons did not exist. The subsequent dissolution of the Iraqi army put 400,000 armed men on the street without income. The state collapsed, hundreds of thousands of civilians died, and the power vacuum fueled the rise of ISIS. The most dangerous leaders are often those who genuinely believe their noble intent justifies the catastrophic outcomes of their actions. These historical failures bleed directly into the modern era, leaving vulnerable citizens to face the consequences of federal incompetence, like thousands stranded on rooftops while rescue systems fail systematically. Left unchecked, executive failure eventually threatens the democratic system itself, leading to moments where the peaceful transfer of power is violently rejected. The Oval Office acts as an amplifier, magnifying the character flaws and the prejudices of whoever sits behind the desk. True patriotism requires us to look past the symbols on our currency and demand absolute accountability from the leaders who wield executive power.